Hi, everyone, and welcome. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Vicky Cardona. I'm the community manager at Envision. In today's webinar, Kartik Mahadevan, CEO here at Envision, will be taking a deep dive into the latest Envision Glasses update, version 2.2.0, which is packed with tons of new features that include being able to read on and offline and much, much more. Plus, Furkan Metin, our esteemed product manager, will be giving us a sneak preview of what else is on the Envision roadmap this summer. We'd also like to extend a very warm welcome to the first of our summer guests, Manfred Jacqueline, CEO at IPD, specialists in helping people in Germany who are blind and low vision with their assistive technology needs. Manfred and Kartik will be discussing the recent launch of Envision glasses in Germany and how funding by German health insurance companies is making all the difference. And after that, it's your turn to ask us any questions you may have. As always, we'll do our best to take as many of them as we possibly can. Now, just a bit of housekeeping. It won't take long, I promise. Today's webinar is being recorded and also streamed live on YouTube. We ask that you please wait until the Q&A session at the end of the presentations before asking your questions. Also, out of respect for everyone's time, please keep your questions short, to the point, and relevant to the rest of the audience. You can ask us questions in one of the following ways. On Zoom, you can use either the Q&A window or the raise hand function. The keystroke to raise your hand is Alt-Y on Windows and Option Y on Mac. If you're invited to speak, the keystroke to mute and unmute yourself is, oops, sorry about this. My having a little bit of technical difficulties. I do apologize. Not sure what happened there. Give me a second, everybody. Of course, this is being my first day. This has to happen, right? It's almost like Murphy's Law. Okay. Let's see, keystrokes. Okay. All right. So, I don't know why okay, here we go. All right, so let's start over. You can ask questions, like I said, on Zoom using the Q&A window or the raise hand function. The raise hand is done by using Alt-Y or Option Y on Mac. If you're invited to speak, the keystroke to mute and unmute yourself is Alt-A for Windows and Command-Shift-A for Mac. For those of you on YouTube, by all means, please don't be shy. Feel free to ask your questions via the YouTube chat function. Now, that was a bit of a longer housekeeping that I had anticipated, so please accept my apologies. But now, without further ado, let's get on with it, shall we? Kartik, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Vicky, for that introduction, and I would like to welcome everyone who are here in this July webinar of Envision. I'm now going to mainly talk about like some of the stuff that we have pushed out on the Envision glasses. We had a pretty big update that went out in June on the Envision glasses. It had a lot of things, but I'm going to mainly focus on probably the biggest thing that we pushed and also the most requested thing that we pushed, which is offline scan text. When we launched the Envision glasses in 2020, a lot of the features on these glasses were available only online, like instant text, explore. A lot of things were things that required an internet connection. And I remember us making a commitment to the community at large that our team, our engineering team, is constantly going to be working hard to bring as many of these features offline as possible. We did that to begin with instant text. instant text, which is ideal for short pieces of text. That's what we were able to do offline recognition of the text for. And that has been a huge success. So many use cases it has been able to unlock, where on a video feed it's able to speak out text instantly. um, but then the other feature, the more sort of complex feature of scan text, which actually is intended to read dense text, it is intended for a reading of like complex documents. That was the harder part, because their accuracy is like super important, especially when you're trying to read your documents where the font sizes are pretty small. Stuff like columns are mushed together. So in those cases the accuracy had to be a lot higher. And at Envision we do believe in offering a certain amount of quality in every feature that we offer. So that is like an aspect that our engineering team constantly kept on putting effort into improving. And you finally had a breakthrough, with all months of R&D that like went into it, where we were able to do an offline version of scan text, which means the scan text function now your works entirely offline on device, and it is as accurate as an online like function, as far as a standard piece of document or a text is concerned. The advantages of doing it offline is, if you are in a situations where you do not have access to the internet, if you're out and about, for example, or if you're at a location where the hotspot signal is is not strong enough, but you still have the need to read a complex text or a document. So now you can always rely on these glasses to always be there for you. So even if there is no internet connection, you can always go ahead and do like a reading of these. The other one is, like some people do have a bit of a concern with with having these documents being sort of like read online. When it's uploaded to like a server, there is still a bit of apprehension, especially when it comes to more of a sensitive or a confidential information. Even though I like to assure you that Envision operates in a compliance with all the data protection and the privacy laws. So any of the documents, any of the images that are taken with these glasses are never stored on our server for anything. So even though there is enough your privacy and security are built in, there's still understandable a sense of apprehension that your people have when it comes to reading a sensitive piece of document. When they do it with offline scan text, there is nothing that's being uploaded to the cloud, so everything happens on device. So there is that additional bit of assurance that people can have when they do offline scan text, that if all the processing is all happening on device. So they can be assured that this data will never leave the bounds of the device that you're wearing on your face. So that's a huge step for us. That's probably scan text is probably the most used feature on these glasses, and to be able to bring that feature offline is a significant milestones. And it sort of also indicates towards the future of these glasses, where the idea is to do as many things offline as is possible. Just a couple of like points to add to that. Even though the offline scan text part is available on offline, so you can do the processing and actually have the output being like read out to you online. If you do want to use a feature like Ask Envision, for example, that is a feature that will require a connection to the internet. So you can do the recognition of the document offline, but Ask Envision is still a function that we do require internet access for. So if you do want to do Ask Envision, you will need access to internet. But as far as just the like reading is concerned, you now have the ability to do that entirely offline. And the final advantage that I would really like to highlight here, and that's what I will do a demonstration of, is the speed, right? Because the processing is entirely happening offline on device, the speed at which it's able to do a recognition is almost instantaneous. Where as soon as you take a picture, within a second, you actually have the output being spoken out to you. As opposed to if it's online, there is a bit of a dependency on the strength of your internet. If you are at a place where you do get pretty good internet, the processing speed is pretty quick. But if you are at a place where the internet isn't great, the processing is still happening online, but it often takes a few more seconds for it to do the processing. But with offline scan text, you can be entirely assured that the processing is all happening offline on device. So you'll always get a quick output of it. Let me do a quick demo to sort of show you exactly your snappiness and the speed that I'm talking about. I have my glasses on me right now, and I do have it hooked up to a Bluetooth speaker, so you actually get to hear the output of these glasses. Let me first go ahead and do a double tap to wake up my glasses.
Home.
They are now at home. I'm going to swipe forward to get to scan text.
Instant text. Scan text.
And now in scan text, the way to your switch from from online mode to offline mode is in the context like menu. So I'm gonna do a 2-finger single tap to open the context menu of like scan text.
Offline mode is disabled.
And it informs me that offline mode is
One
disabled.
finger double tap to enable offline mode. One finger swipe down to confirm your selection.
I'm gonna do a 1-finger double tap.
Offline mode is enabled.
And I'm gonna swipe down with 1 finger.
One finger double taps, scan text.
So now the offline mode is enabled.
Offline mode, scan text.
And now I'm going to do a double tap, and it's going to work pretty similarly as scan text work. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to give me instructions about how to hold the document in a way where all of the document is in the frame. As soon as the document is in the frame, it will take a picture. You will hear a capture sound, and almost immediately after that, it's going to start speaking out the output of it. For this demonstration, I have a book in my hand. It's Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. It's about the founder of like Nike. It's a great book that I recommend to anybody who would like to pick it up. I'm going to be scanning the back of this book, so let me go ahead and do that.
Move document up or your head down.
So it offered me instructions. A picture is captured.
Reader. Condit HNNY suspensecal arary, this mem, fresh out of business CL Hill Night Barode Thai dollars RO. His father.
So almost instantly, you could see there was almost no like processing time involved. Almost instantly, it just started speaking out the text to me. Earlier you would be hearing a sound of Envision for a bit, and then it will speak out the output. But in this case, as soon as you heard the capture sound, within the span of a second, it starts speaking out the output to me. So that's basically how offline scan text works. It's just the good old scan text, a feature that but now snappier and offline and always available. With that, I would want to go to the next segment of this panel, and I would like to invite a guest on this panel, Manfred from Germany, who is not just a distributor of Envision glasses, but he's also an avid user of the glasses. So he is a fellow Envisioner. So I would first like to bring on Manfred and ask him to introduce himself. Manfred, if you could show yourself and talk to us a bit about who you are and
yes. Hello, Kartik. Thank you that I'm here and at the webinar. Yeah, my name is Manfred Jacqueline. Yeah, from the education, I'm a lawyer. And in 1995, I founded IPD as a company who is selling computer-aided technologies for the blind. And I'm working together with a lot of companies all around the world. And one of them is Envision in the Netherlands. We are selling the products to the customer. And one important thing I'm doing, and that's the way why it's good to be a lawyer. In Germany, we have a lot of law to get paid and aided technology. And so you have to know which way you have to go to get your technology for a special part, for home, for the job, or whatever. Yes, and so that's I'm working here now 28 years in this market and have a lot of good connections all around the world. And yes, since 2 years we are working together, 2.5 years, working together with Envision, and that's a very good product, and I'm glad to have it in my stock now.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much. If I may ask you to turn on your a video, Manfred, so that people can also see you for those.
Okay. 1 moment. I have to look. It's off. 1 moment. Mm, 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 mm. Mm. No, it must be on.
Not yet.
1 moment.
Yeah, now it's
Yeah.
on.
Now it's on?
Yes, now we see you.
Yeah, perfectly.
No,
Okay.
so appreciate that introduction. I think it is a good combination of being a lawyer and an assistive technology specialist. So you do know the best of both worlds. Can you talk to us a bit about like the process itself? If there are people in the audience from like Germany who are interested in making a purchase, what does a process of applying for a reimbursement for a device like this looks like in Germany?
Yes. If you want to have it for your private use at home, you have to go to the doctor. You get a medical prescription. And with that medical prescription, you come up to us. Then we give you an Envision glasses for testing so that you can see it's working. Then you have to fill out a document, and at least we will give it to the health insurance, and the health insurance will pay for the Envision glasses. That's a short way.
Understood. And talk to us a bit about your own experience with the glasses, and if you could also so highlight a bit about the scan text feature, and how do you think the offline scan text could be of like benefit to people in Germany?
Yeah, offline scan is a very good feature. I'm using it myself very often. For example, you have some foods. I get a big packet with dry fruits and a lot of small packages inside, and I pick it up, turn on instant text, turn on offline mode, and it works quite quick. And it's important if you want to select products and put it away in the right order, for example, in your fridge. And so that's very good use. And sometimes if you are using or if you need to use scan text for the most documents, it's completely okay to have this feature offline. And if you have not the possibility to have a Wi-Fi, then it's a very good solution to scan a longer information on a page or in a book you need to read. And so that's very good. And it's work really fast. That's very good.
Understood. Yeah, appreciate that information, Manfreds. And so, if there are people in the audience who are interested in getting, like their hands on this glasses, what is the best way they can reach out to you, and what is the best way they can like speak to you about this?
They can call us up. We have normally we are making the consultation with a telephone, the first contact. We can talk about the situation. We can talk about what is needed and what of the functionality is or shall be used by the customer. But it's the same possible to send an email to us and we will call you back. It's not a problem. But at first or biggest step is to talk about the product, to talk about what the people want to do, and to take care that it's, Envision glasses is a powerful hardware for the customer.
Understood. And could you, could you speak out the email address and also the phone number that people can, people can reach you on?
Yes, that is post, P-O-S-T, at IPD .gmbh and no.de. The top level domain is GmbH in Germany. That's the same as in England. It's LTD. And IPD is standing for Infosystem Production and Distribution. That's the email address, and the telephone number in Germany is 0511. It's the local code for Hanover, and then 9363090.
Gotcha. Thanks, Manfred. As of now on the screen, I do have a slide which actually also has these contact information that Manfred just mentioned on the display. And just next to it is also a picture of the Envision team and the IPD team on the Site City booth that we were in together, just like last month. So that's the picture that's on the screen right now. But if anybody in the audience is from Germany and you're interested in getting like a demonstration of these glasses, but also you want to understand a bit more about these glasses and how to purchase it with the health insurance, do reach out to IPD and do reach out to like Manfred and his team, and they will be there to help you out with the process entirely.
Yes.
All right, Manfred, thank you so much. With that, I do want to thank you for your time.
Yes.
And with that, I would also then go to the final a part of of like a webinar, which is a bit of under the hood talk. And under the hood is a sneak peek into what's brewing in the labs of Envision. So I would like to pass on the talking to Farkan, who is the product manager at Envision, to take us through a bit about what's under the hood.
Hello there. Hey, everyone. This is Farkan from Envision. I'm the product manager here at Envision. And today, let me quickly start my video. I do now, so the ones who can see the video, they can see me. Hello, everyone. Once again, I'm going to quickly talk today about the Envision glasses, and in specific about update 2.2.0, which I think Kartik already mentioned a lot about, but I think there's more to it than Kartik mentioned. So as Kartik mentioned already, what we have is offline scan text, but also don't forget the offline batch scan that you can do right now. But in version 2.2.0, which was released on the 7th of June, we also improved the Find Object feature, the Find People, and Explore. So what you will see in the Find Object feature right now is many more objects and also more relevant ones. So we did a lot of testing with our users and also what kind of objects are the ones that you want to look for and identify or maybe lose on a daily basis. So we added those objects, but also with Find People and Explore. And especially the Explore function is my personal favorite. Right now with Explore, you can simply enable the function, activate it, and just look around and have all those objects spoken out. Another improvement that we made to all of these three functions, so the Find Object, Find People, and Explore, is that you now also get a clock notation position. So instead of just getting an alert or, hey, knowing the chair that I'm looking for is somewhere in front of me, we'll also now hear the clock notation. So when it's 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, it will be mentioned like that. So it's a coffee cup 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, which also means that if it says coffee cup 3 o'clock and I look to the right, if it then says coffee cup 12 o'clock, then I know it's in front of me and I can grab the coffee cup that I lost, for instance. The online and offline scan text and bed scan, they're available on all of the editions, so Read, Home, and Professional, whereas the improved Find Object, Find People, and Explore are available on the Home and Professional edition. There's one more thing to this update, which is the improved Describe Scene. So I would definitely also recommend to try out the Describe Scene, because this also gives a much more accurate and much more detailed description of what is in front of you. So before, where they used to maybe say there's a person sitting at a table, we will now say there's a person sitting at a table, there's a laptop on the table, and in the background there are windows, to give a very clear example, very fast example. And finally, for 2.2.0, we've also added support for the Korean language. So we always try to add new languages. So if you know anyone that is actually asking for any of the languages for the Envision glasses, please reach out to us and we'll be able to localize the language, but also do this on our platform called Crowdin, where you can also add your own translations. Finally, if you have the Envision glasses, you can go to Settings, Software Update, and then do a one-finger double tap to get this latest update. I can't wait for everyone to try this one and try all of these new functions, which is a lot, but I'm very excited to see everyone using these new functions. That is the Envision glasses, the update 2.2.0. And then we have the Envision app. For the Envision app, I'm also very excited because we've been working on it for quite some time. And we're actually working on a new redesign. And the main redesign, what we focused on this time, is a little bit inspired by the Envision glasses. I'm not going to lie. So what we're doing with the redesign is focus on the features again. So just like in the Envision glasses, where we used to have categories and you would go into a category and select a feature, right now you can select your own features, reorder them and say, I'd like to use instant text, scan text, and for instance, call an ally the most. Also for the Envision app, that's something we're working on. So you can rearrange your features that you use the most and kind of hide the others that you don't use too often somewhere in like a more features menu that we're creating. And this is again inspired by the Envision glasses, but also from a lot of feedback from you. So that is always my message. Please always write to us, whether it's on socials, on email. Please reach out to us what it is that you'd like to have improved, whether it's on the Envision glass or the Envision app. I definitely noticed this difference for this focus of the features. When I was in the US, for instance, recognized cache is being used a lot with the Envision glasses, but here in the Netherlands, where we are based, it's not being used a lot. So it's nice that you can kind of move the features away or move them the way you want to. Another exciting thing with this redesign is that we're also adding support for tablet version. So whether you have an Android tablet or an iPad, we will also give support to that. So if you have an iPad, you can also download the Envision app. It's totally free, as you know. Download it and try it out on those on an iPad or a tablet. As always, you can just check our socials where we will announce once this redesign is done, which will be next month, or you will get an update when you have the Envision app already on your phone. And as always, this redesign comes for both Android and iOS. So that's a little bit about the Envision glasses, what we've been doing, and then also the Envision app. Finally, I'd like to mention some events that we're also attending. And this is great if you want to try out the Envision glasses, for instance. One is already in, let me see, I think this weekend already on the 1st of July until the 6th, which is the National Federation of the Blind National Convention. This is in Houston, the US, so from July 1st until the 6th. So if you're living nearby or you just fly there, you can go there and try out the Envision glasses. Then the next event that we're attending is on the July 17 and July 18. This is at Site Village Central in Birmingham, UK. So that will be on July 17 and July 18 in the UK. And then the event after that where we'll be is the Blind Veterans Association in St. Louis, Missouri, I think that's the way it's called, in the US again, August 14 until August 18. So once again, we have an event on July 1 to 6 in Houston, US, July 17 and 18 in Birmingham, UK, and August 14 until August 18 in St. Louis, Missouri. That was it for my side. So quickly regarding the Envision glasses, definitely try out update 2.2.0. For next month, keep our socials in mind that we're going to be releasing a new redesign for the Envision app, and for the events. If you can be there, please be there.
All right. Appreciate that quick introduction to everything, Arfan. And with that, we come to a close of all the updates from Envision for this webinar. Of course, as always, there's a whole bunch of things in the pipeline. So there's always like a lot of things brewing in the Envision are like labs, and we are very excited to speak about them as in when we can. But I think for now we'll open up the floor for any of the of like a questions that all of you might have. We have already been getting some of the questions in the Q&A section of the app. So definitely good to keep a check on that. But there are a couple of ways to ask us a question. You can either put a question down in the chat in like YouTube if you're watching this webinar on YouTube. If you're on Zoom, you can either send us a question using the Q&A function in the Zoom, and we'll answer it, or you can also simply use the raise like hand function. If you use the raise hand function, we will invite you on to the panel, and you can just speak to any of us on the panel and ask a question that will be directed at any of us. With that, let me bring on Joshua Newman. You can unmute yourself and you can ask us your question.
Hello.
Hi, Joshua. How are you doing today?
I want to say the processing is very, very cool on the offline scan text feature. And yes, and my question is how I can download beta versions for the glasses when I have the glasses. My next day in by my oh man, and the eye doctor, sorry, eye doctor is August. Make the miracle prescription for me, and yes, and then I am so glad.
Right. All right, Josh, thank you so much. I appreciate the question. And like to join the beta program on the glasses, there is an application like process, because we don't want too many users on the beta, because because when you are on a beta software, it means you are opting for a bit more unstable version of the glasses, and we only want to make sure people who are comfortable with that kind of your so instability, or people who are okay with a bit of a technical approach to this, or you're like are on that. So the way to apply to be a part of the beta program, there's like a very simple application, a form that you need to fill in, and then your team will review it, and if you feel that you're a good addition to the beta team, we'll add you on it. So if you can send an email to us to support@letsenvision.com. That's support at letsenvision.com. Then just like mentioned in that you would be interested in joining the beta program of the glasses, and then our support team will like share with you the link to apply to be a part of the beta program.
And when I send an email, need you a series number or a IMAI numbers, or the glasses don't have the numbers?
We will need to have a serial number of the glasses, but you need to enter the serial number in like the application form. So to send us the email itself, you have to have your serial number. So you can just send us an email first, and then after we send you the like a link to the application form, you will need to enter the serial number of the glasses in that.
Mhm. The app link for the Envision app for iOS, or which link?
So there is a separate like a link to a form that will be sent to you. So if you send us an email to support at Let's Envision, they will send you a link to the application form for
Mhm.
the beta program on the glasses.
Yeah. And where is Manfred? Jacqueline, I have a question, but this German English, and this is not good. I need a translator, or is Manfred out?
Manfred is here, so you can ask a question to him if you would like.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm here.
Ist es okay, dass ich Deutsch spreche,
Ja, klar.
das man, okay. Und zwar würde ich gerne sagen, ich freue mich total auf die Be My Eyes Funktion. Und wann würde sie denn kommen? Und ja, das war's dann eigentlich.
I will translate it. Joshua is asking when we will get the feature for Be My Eye.
All right. It's in the works. There is definitely a strong development and a collaboration that is happening between Envision and the Be My Eyes team. So it's in the works. It's not as straightforward to do the integration as we earlier thought. There's a bit more of development that is required. It's in the works. It's in a progress, but I don't have a timeline for it as of now. But it is something that both Envision and the Be My Eyes team are currently in like a development stage of.
Okay. Und wird das dann über Svetlana laufen? Sorry for the German question.
All right.
Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you,
Ich glaube,
Joshua. Appreciate the questions.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye-bye. Have a good day. All right. That was Joshua. Let me see if there are some questions in the Q&A. There's a question from Kabelo Kekana, who says, I'm from South Africa, and how is it easy for me to have access to Envision classes? Then Kabelo, we have a distributor, we have an authorized distributor in South Africa. It's SANCB. I'm not sure if you're aware of the organization SANCB. They are the ones who are an authorized distributor of Envision classes in South Africa. If you could again send us an email to support@letsenvision.com. Our support team will be able to make an introduction of you directly with the team from SANCB. We'll be able to both offer you in person a demonstration of these glasses and also be able to help you with any of the assistance you might need with the purchasing of the glasses. Thank you. There is a very interesting question from Tim, who asks, do you think that for those of us in North America, you could have the Jeopardy song playing while the glasses are thinking LOL? I think it will be it will be funny to have the Jeopardy song playing while the glasses are thinking, but I think we might be running into a copyright issue there. But yeah, maybe at some point we can introduce something that allows people to choose their own or record their own processing sound, and maybe that way this could be possible in the future. Thank you, Tim, for that question. Let me go back to the raised hands. I'm going to bring on Sean, Cummins. Sean, if you could unmute yourself and ask us your question.
Okay. Yes. Hi. Thank you for taking my question. It's two-part.
Mhm.
Do you folks ever intend on making a left side unit for non-binaural hearing loss people? We have many clients that have that, elderly clients, especially, the age group that suffered from mumps back in the 60s before the vaccine. And two, do you ever intend on making a completely voice-driven or voice actuation menu system for those with motor disabilities? Thanks for taking my question.
All right, Sean. I appreciate your questions. Thank you so much. On like the first one, that is like more difficult for us to put the glasses on the other side. That is a request we have been receiving a lot, but because Envision does not make the hardware ourselves, we do get the hardware from Google, and we just flash our software into it. We don't have that much of a control over the hardware itself. So we are a bit limited by what is possible on the hardware end, and because of that, it's not possible to have a configuration of the glasses that supports like the electronics or the touchpad of the glasses to be on like on like left hand side. So there is no solution in the short term, but we are exploring other alternate pieces of like hardware as well that we can put our software onto. So it might be possible in like long term when we transition away from the Google Glass to a different piece of like hardware, but it's not something that is possible in the short term. With regards to the second thing that you mentioned, where it's completely a voice activated thing, that is technically doable even now. The only reason we're not totally doing it is because of the effect it might have on the battery life, for example. So because if you do need that, then you do need to have the glasses always a listening. For example, if you want to activate it with a voice command like you do with your Hey Siri or your Hey Alexa, then the glasses, your microphone needs to be constantly on to in order to be able to catch that, and that could have a significant impact on the battery of the glasses. And because the batteries on these glasses are not that big, that is something that it will be a significant impact on the battery, and that's the reason we are not doing it as of now. But we do want to make the voice commands a lot more detailed in the forward. Like as of now, the only thing you can do with a voice commands is just open up a function, for example. But we do want in the future for it to be able to do even more detailed stuff. For example, open a function and open something specific inside of that function. That is like happening. But in order to wake the voice command with a voice itself, we might probably have that as an optional thing, if because there is going to be an impact on the battery life if it's always on and always listening. I hope that answered your like a question.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you, Sean. Let me see if there are more questions. There is a question from Cabello, who asks if Envision can read your math text. And basically, yes, Envision so the text recognition of the glasses on these glasses are actually very, very good. It does do a decent job at very basic math functions, but if it's a bit more complicated, like an integration or a differential, where stuff like that is probably going to be a bit more challenging for Envision glasses at the moment. But if it's a simple equation, that is something that the glasses should be able to handle. But yeah, anything more complex is what it will struggle with as of now. But that being said, this is a part of the research that our AI team is doing. We do know that there is a lot of very experimental AI models that are specifically built for like math functions. So yeah, it is something that our team is going to be looking into. And if you're able to have a breakthrough, it will be the first thing that we'll introduce to all the users. I'm going to bring on Oleg Shevkun. Oleg, if you can unmute yourself and ask us.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Oleg.
Hello. Nice to be with y'all and nice to hear about Envision Glass. I do have a question that builds on what you mentioned earlier today, earlier in the show, and you talked about changing hardware. And I understand the tension. On the one hand, there is constant technical development, but on the other hand, it's a huge investment for us as customers or for insurance companies and so on. And let me put the question like this. Suppose I get Envision Glass right now. I'm in Germany, can use the German insurance. And that means that for the next 5 to 7 years, there's not going to be a similar device for me to get from German insurance. Why? What if in 2 years you people decide, okay, we're no longer with Google, we're using Apple or using Meta or some other hardware? Will that mean that development on previous hardware iterations will stop? What will this do for those of us who invested into earlier hardware? And I understand it's not a simple question, but I still thought I'd ask it. Thank you.
No, I appreciate that, Oleg, and even though it's not a simple question, I do believe it's an important one. So the way like we approach it at Envision is that we want the experience of buying these glasses to be very similar to the experience you will have when you buy a smartphone, for example, right? Or when you buy something like an iPhone. Let me use that as an example. So when you go ahead and like you make a purchase of that iPhone, there will be a new iPhone the next year and a year after that, but it does not decrease the functionality of the iPhone that you bought 2-3 years back. And that's the way we want to develop these glasses as well, and that's why we put a lot of effort into very foundational stuff in the glasses, like the very foundational stuff of how we do the development of the software is in a way where it will be very scalable for the future. That's why like a lot of time like a big chunk of the engineering effort is in the back end, is in the infrastructure end, so that everything that that we are putting out, we expect it to have a long shelf life. So if you do buy the glasses today, all the features and the functionality that glasses they have as of now, plus all the features and the functionality that will come in the next couple of years, we will support it for as far back as we can. We can physically do it, right? Because a lot of the stuff that we're doing is on a software end. So I think as far as possible, we will support older devices. There probably will be some sort of a cutoff. I would say at about 5 to 7 years is probably a good point where the hardware will, of other glasses, it would have advanced. I would say like so much that any of the features that like you push out, it'll be super hard to to have it compatible with like the glasses that you bought 5 to 7 years ago. But it will be a similar experience that you probably have with your iPhone, for example, right? So if you bought an iPhone 5 years ago, you're still able to use it well, depending on how well you have maintained it. You will still be able to use all the functions and the functionalities of that iPhone, but probably you will not be able to upgrade to the latest iOS 17 that Apple has put out. So that will be a similar experience that you can also expect from these glasses. You can definitely expect to have all the upgrades for the next 3 to 4 years. But anything after that, like you might either have to upgrade to a latest piece of hardware, or you can still continue to use the like the old device with all the features that it has at the moment. But maybe some of like new stuff that we that we push out after I would say about like 3 to 4 years, you might not have access to the new stuff.
Yeah, thank you. And a quick follow-up question. How about Braille display support? If I have a Braille display, can I pair it by Bluetooth with Envision glasses, like to read the text that is recognized on a Braille display? And also, can I save that recognized text? For example, I read a document. Is there a way to save it and then transfer it elsewhere? Or is it just for like on-the-spot reading, like a sighted person would read, but they would need another piece of technology to save that?
Yeah. So to answer like first part of the question, so it's as of now, it's not possible to make a connection with a Braille display to read the text with a Braille display. But there is a workaround for that, and that answers the second part of your question. With these glasses, you can always export the text that is on the glasses to the Envision app on your phone. So these glasses, they do have a pairing with the Envision app on your phone. So at any point, if there is a piece of scanned text that you would like to save to read it later, or if you want to save it to be able to email it or like WhatsApp it to someone, for example, you can simply export that text, and then that piece of text will show up on the Envision app on your phone. And once it's on the Envision app, it can both be read by a braille display, because the app is accessible with a braille display, so you can read the text on the Envision app with a braille display, but also be able to also be able to export it from the Envision app to any of your like text-based application that you would actually want to export it to.
Thank you, and keep doing a good job.
Thanks, Oleg. Appreciate all the questions, and I wish you a good day ahead. All right, lot more questions coming in. I will be a bit mindful of the time. We probably have like 4 minutes to go, so just giving you a heads up, but I think we can take at least a couple of more questions. So let me call. So there is actually a couple of questions from like Tim, who is asking, are there any updates on hardware changes that is anticipated? If so, or how soon? And he has a follow up if there will be a preferred pricing for existing users. Tim, there is no and I would say hardware changes in like the short term, which means at least nothing in this year. We are still developing on the Google Glass. We have enough supply of the Google Glass to continue development on that. So there is no anticipated or a planned or hardware changes in like the short term. And as and when we do come up with a different piece of hardware, existing your customers, they will be offered a discount if they want to upgrade to a new piece of hardware. So that is something we'll have to define the mechanisms for as and when we get to it. It's still too far for us to define or think of that mechanism. So there will be some form of a discounted pricing for existing customers, but exactly so how much it will be and so how it will be you're dealt with, we are still too far away from that to think of it as of now. I'm going to bring on James. James, you can unmute yourself and ask us your question. James, you can unmute yourself and ask us your question. James Karakt. James, can you unmute yourself and ask us your question? All right, as James is attempting to do that, let me go and answer some more questions that are burning. Vicky, is there anything from the Q&A that I should pick up?
I was just looking and I didn't see anything, but I just wanted to say whoever wanted to speak, I just wanted to remind them that it's Alt-A on Windows, and I believe it's Command-Shift-A if you're on a Mac, to toggle the mute setting.
Right. Great. Let me then try to bring in Sabapati. Sabapati, you can unmute yourself and ask us your question.
Sir, my name is Sabapati. I'm in India. Can I contact Indian dealer for Envision glasses, sir?
Yes, Sabapati. As of now, we don't have a dealer in or authorized a dealer in India for the Envision glasses. So that is something that we currently do not have. So but we do ship to India. We do sell in India. So if you do want to you inquire about these classes, or if you do want a demo, as of now, only a virtual a demonstration is possible. We cannot offer an in-person a demonstration in India as of now. So yeah, if you are interested in learning more about the classes, you can book a virtual a demonstration of the classes through our website. If
Okay.
yeah, and if you do want in-person a demonstration, maybe the best thing would be to there is like you're like workaround for that as well. With all the people who you purchase the classes from us, we do offer everyone like a 30-day, so a no questions asked your refund a policy. So if you're interested in in knowing if this glasses is your like right tool for you, you can simply just order these glasses, and you can
Sir,
use them for like 30 days.
other
And if,
question, sir.
yes.
Sir, please explain my Indian languages virtual demo.
Hmm.
Explain Indian languages available.
It is available in some languages. So there are people of our team who do speak some Indian languages. So I think we have in our team people who can
Tamil, sir.
speak Tamil. Yes, it should be
Especially
possible.
Tamil.
Yes.
Okay,
So
sir.
in that, yeah. So in that case, when you're booking your demo, if you can mention it in like the request form itself that you would you would prefer to actually have the demo in like Tamil, then we'll do our best to have a Tamil your team member who will do the demo to you. That is something that we will be able to do.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Very thanks, sir.
Okay, Sapari, thank you so much. Have a good day. Just checking back in with James Kraft. Not sure if you're able to unmute yourself yet. If you are, you can unmute yourself and ask us a question now. If not, I will go to your Ismail Zikri. You can unmute yourself and ask us your like a question, Ismail.
Yeah. Hello, sir.
Hi, Ismail.
Hi, it's been an honor to see you in here, sir. I want to ask some question to you. A simple question. I'm a student from Indonesia. Is Envision do some open API to other developer or someone who just want to contribute in the community? In the other side of people around the world who care about the diverse of disability, or just like a non-close of application?
So basically, the classes are not entirely open. We do have a platform that we have developed. That means the platform is built in such a way which allows for integration of applications are developed by like third parties. So for example, in these classes we have like the IRA app or the cash like reader app. These are both a third party applications that are on the glasses, but we sort of are doing a curation of which apps can actually be on the glasses, because we do want to make sure that the experience people are having on the glasses is like a high quality experience. So we don't want to open the platform for anybody to be able to develop an app for it, but we will work in a collaboration with that team, exactly how like we're working with folks like Be My Eyes, or some of the other companies that are in the pipeline. So we can do a collaboration. So Ismail, if you're interested in developing an application for these classes, I will definitely encourage you to reach out to us, like to our team, and we will definitely jump on a call then to understand exactly what is it that you would like to develop and exactly how you would like to do it. And if that is something that we believe there is like a demand for our user base from, or if you think that it will add a value to our user base, that is something that we will then work with you on doing the development of together.
Okay, sir. That's cool. Thank you, sir.
All right, Ismail. Thank you so much for your questions. All right. Before I wrap up, I'm going to do one last attempt to James Kraft. James Kraft, if you could unmute yourself and ask us your question. All right. Seems like James is not able to get on, but it also brings us to the end of time here. So I would again I like to extend heartfelt thanks to everybody who's attended like the webinar today. I hope this was informative, and I hope you got to learn a bit more about everything that Envision has been up to in the month of June. I look forward to actually having all of you back for the webinar we'll have in July. That's again going to be a very exciting one. We have a guest who is going to be on the July webinar already, who we know is going to be very, very exciting. So I look forward to having you all back for the webinar we'll have in July. And from Envision's end, we'll have lots of updates and a lot more interesting conversations with the guests on that. With that, I wish all of you have a good day ahead. And for any of the questions that we were not able to answer on the webinar today, please reach out to us at support@letsenvision.com, and our team will do their best to give you a response as soon as possible. Thank you, and I wish everybody a good day ahead.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.